Old World, Florida. Dr. Narco Longo.
Brought to you by the Florida Department of Magic. Welcome to Florida, baby.
Florida is the original Garden of Eden.
Florida has the highest concentration of freshwater springs in the world.
Florida oranges are the golden apples of mythology. A race of giant men once roamed this peninsula. The Smithsonian can suck my balls.
Florida is littered with many ancient megalithic ship anchors, known as Saxor stones.
I'm true. Yeah. Come on. Give back what I want from you. So give back, 'cause you know I'm true. Give it, baby, what I want from you. So give back, 'cause you know I'm true. Yeah.
Howdy, everyone. Happy Saturday. Let me know if we're sounding good, looking good. Thanks, Carl. Been waiting all day for your warm greeting. So glad you're grateful to be here. Merlin, you there? I think you're muted. Can't hear you. At least I can't. Can you guys hear Merlin? Uh-oh. Whoops. He's out. Well, I guess I'll just chit-chat then. Happy Saturday. Happy January. It's been January for a little while, but now it's Aquarius season. Here he is. Yo. I think you're muted. Still. Yeah, they can't hear you. Sorry. There we go.
All right, we're good? All right.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's all right. Now I can hear you.
Nice and easy. Quick enough fix. How you doing, man?
Good. And sorry, guys. Sorry I don't have a suit on. So practically naked. Merlin felt bad. He's the only one wearing a suit.
Bro, you wanted to suit up. You were like, let's suit up for, a good reason. But hey, dude, we're doing good.
It was a matter of temperature this morning. So, yeah, I couldn't have. I mean, I could have, but I walked to work. Just wanted to be comfortable.
No, for sure. Comfortability is, and again, like I got the opposite temperature problem. It's 27 degrees outside, man. I'm dying. I've been sick for 3 days. It's awful. And you got 75-degree weather. Mm-hmm. Florida must be nice.
It was.
You like it for a reason.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Nature's not trying to kill you. You don't have to fight for survival here. Yeah, Carl. Yeah, how you doing, man? Yeah, let us know how the weather is. Yeah. Well, I'm only teasing. And, it's customary for streamers to have music or an intro before they start. So get with the program, man. We're talking about Janus tonight. We're talking about Janus, who is the Roman god, but also Uranus, the planet Uranus. Uranus and Janus, secretly the same thing. But more importantly, we're going to be talking about the genius janitor archetype. Has it ever occurred to you why there are so many, you guys, all you out there, why there are so many genius, wise, knowledgeable, magical, mystical janitors? What's with this, and I called it an archetype. If you weren't, thinking the same way we are, you'd probably just call it a cliche almost, right? Like the janitor is actually a lot deeper than you think he is. Don't just brush off the janitor's opinion. He's smarter than you think.
Yeah,
Well,
don't judge a book by its cover.
yeah, that's actually really shallow. And the real meaning behind the genius janitor or the smart, innovating janitor is so much more, so much richer than that and deeper. And it goes back to astrology, it goes back to astrotheology. So that's what we're all about here on the casting couch. So have a seat, boys, have a seat, men and women, please have a seat. And we're going to talk about the genius janitor archetype. Before we get too much into that, let's check in with Merlin. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. I was sick Thursday, Friday, called out of work. I'm feeling a little better today. Ready for the show though. It should be hopefully interesting. What's funny, guys, is if you're an Old World Florida fan, this will be a familiar topic for you because Longo did this show exactly to the day 1 year ago. So that's pretty cool. Oh, never mind.
You
Okay.
you can't tell them we're just peddling the same crap, the same crap every year over and over again.
I would call that refinement, would you not?
Yeah, that's a good point. No, I'm just joking, but we're definitely not going to cover everything. Or there's definitely going to be a lot of new stuff in this. Number one, we have Merlin here instead of the last two guests, which were. So yeah, Merlin's
Mario.
talking about 1 whole year ago to the day was my other January Janus and the Genius Janitor podcast stream. We had Ben, the archivist, waking up with analog. You know him. And then Symbolic Studies, Mario from Symbolic Studies. We had both of them on to talk about Janus, and it was a good time. We're going to cover a lot of the same stuff again. Going to try and focus a little bit more on etymology, and we'll have Merlin's wonderful contributions. So, but yeah, go check out that last show, and shout out to Ben, the archivist. He's one of the people who really got me more and more into Janus, and convinced me kind of Janus was worth doing a whole show on. Janus, January. So I think we've done 2 shows about Janus before, actually, maybe more. But it's January, and now it's Aquarius. So that's the occasion for this show. Now, let's talk about Janus, Uranus, and all that real quick. We're just stepping out of Capricorn now. So we're going from the 10th sign of the zodiac into the 11th sign of the zodiac. Janus is the first month, and that's important. We'll get to that. Sorry, January. January takes its name from Janus, in case you haven't realized that by now. So January from Janus, and that goes back to Roman times. Janus is a Roman god. Some would say goddess / god / goddess, depending on who you're asking. But Janus is the two-faced god. Usually two-faced. Not rarely, maybe never do you see Janus with 2 full heads. It's usually 2 faces. The two-faced god, often a younger face and an older face. But sometimes it's a man's face and a woman's face. Sometimes it's 2 bearded men. The myths vary slightly. But Janus is the two-faced god. And we get the word janitor from Janus. Now, why is that? Well, in addition to being the god of doorways, Janus is also the god of keys. Because you need a key to get into a door, right? Or a locked door, at least. So that's just kind of the brief overview of who Janus is. Merlin, what do you think about Janus? What do you want to start off with?
Well, what's cool is that you mentioned that it's neither male nor female, right? It varies a bit, and it's either old or young or double old. And what's cool is you like reckoning Uranus to Janus and Uranus to an octave of Mercury. And that
Right.
mutability or changeability is very mercurial. Because in astrology, Mercury is neither masculine nor feminine, benefic nor malefic. It is changeable. And the fact that Uranus as a concept is very changeable lends a lot of credence to that mercurial aspect or mercurial octave of Janus, I would say. Cups
This
are
is-
yes, yeah.
Is this Alex? This is you, right, Alex? Fucking legendary comment. That's like spoken in. This is like the American version of English Russian like hybrid criminal slang in Clockwork Orange. You know how like they all speak. It's like
Oh yeah, a bit of the old in out, and me
Yeah,
and
they
me
have-
and the old droogs heading down. Yeah,
mhm.
yeah.
Cops written toast another Tengu. That's funny. R.I.P. though. I don't know. I don't know much about that situation. But
Yeah, dude, it's there's a few different camera angles, and all I could say is like every single shooting in Minnesota so far has been someone resisting the cops. When have you ever seen it go well for somebody to resist the cops? You don't fight the cops in the streets, you fight them in the court, if anything, guys. Violence is not the answer, my humble opinion.
Where's Monad? Oh, your camera. Nice.
Oh yeah. You guys want to see the monad? I still got to get the because I bought Giordano Bruno and the Hermetic Tradition like a few weeks before you guys launched yours. I got a different version of it, so I still got to get the old Gallo glass version. But yeah, dude, look at how beautiful this book is. There's none left. I mean, if you want it, I'll sell it for like $5,000 if you want it. You know what I mean? So like, I'll part ways with it. Maybe $5,000. We'll talk business. All right.
Yeah, they're selling for I think it's like $200 more. now.
Really? That's dope. I
Yeah,
should have bought two.
something like that.
Better than Bitcoin, man. Shit.
So, all right, let's pull up some imagery. Let's get into it.
Sure.
right,
Oh yeah, I
y'all.
got to put my screen up. Cool.
Yeah. So, guys, we're going to talk about Janus, the god, Roman god, Uranus, the planet who is secretly Janus. Okay. The huge mystery, big cover up with Uranus and Janus and Uranus. Okay. Uranus is involved in this grand conspiracy. Okay. Basically, NASA pulled an old switcheroo. Not really NASA, okay, but you know, whoever named Uranus, whoever came up with, whoever made that official and stuck with Uranus instead of Janus, it's the only planet that we use the Greek name instead of the Roman. If we used the Roman name for Uranus, it would be Janus. Now, Wikipedia is not going to tell you that. Okay, you're only going to get that on the casting couch on Old World, Florida. Okay. But let's get into it.
And fun fact, William Herschel discovered Uranus in 1781, and he initially wanted to call it the Georgian star after King George from England at the time, because he wanted to give reverence to the king. And all of the other Europeans were like, fuck no, we're not named after the British king, no way. So there was a massive debate among astronomers for that. It was named Herschel after William Herschel for quite some time, and then they settled on Uranus because Herschel is a shit name for a planet, obviously.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. This is a depiction of Janus, guys. Kind of feminine on the right. I think that's a woman. Doesn't have to be. You know, gender neutrality, androgyny is a big theme with Janus and Uranus and Aquarius. Okay. But this is typically what Janus is depicted as. So, you know, a bit of an opposition or a duality, right? Some say that Janus rules all things that are dualistic, right, or polar by nature. Janus, the god of doorways, but also portals, entrances, gates, and even archways. I think the Roman name for archways, the arch was, I believe, the same root as Janus. But yeah, let's see another picture.
And what's cool about that, how you mentioned duality with Janus, is Uranus is alleged to rule electricity, right? And what's necessary for electricity is polarity. So that dual nature of Janus is necessary for, electricity to manifest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Janus. Here, this is a good opportunity. What's up, Saturn Rooster? Good to see you. Saturn Rooster says Janus is much older than Uranus. Discovery. True. Janus is Mercury, the twins. Now, hang on. I don't know if Janus is Mercury, but I think we can compromise on this. Okay, I'm going to throw out an olive branch. And Merlin touched on it earlier. Okay. This is my model for the non-visible planets, semi to non-visible planets, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Uranus, sky, air, communication oriented, right? And gender neutrality, androgyny, the castration. We're going to talk about Uranus being castrated in a sec. But Uranus to me is the octave of Mercury, the evolved Pokemon version of Mercury. Okay, if you're not musically minded, and I'm not talking just to you, Saturn, I'm talking to everyone now. So yes, Janus is Mercury, but it's like the leveled up Mercury, because Mercury's Mercury, right? We don't need the redundancy with Mercury. Janus is Uranus, the equivalent to Uranus in my view, and the octave of Mercury. Just like Pluto's the octave of Mars, right? It's like taking the qualities of Mercury and then saying to the umpteenth degree, on steroids, to the extreme. Pluto is like Mars to the extreme. And Neptune is Venus to the extreme. Okay. Venus born in a shell, or Aphrodite born on, on the coast, right? 1 foot in the water or not, in a shell, depending on the story. Neptune's like that all the way, right? Deep sea, not just by the shores, but deep sea. Neptune rules tune. If Venus rules harmony, Neptune rules tune, being in tune, right? And Pluto, Mars rules war. Pluto rules genocide. Mars rules poking. Pluto rules injections, right? Mars, right? So the 3 non-visible planets line up perfectly to the 3 intermediary planets, or the 3 middle class planets, right? There's like Sun, Moon, Saturn, Jupiter, and then Mercury, Mars, Venus, right? That middle class of planet, Mercury, Mars, Venus, have octaves. Those are. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's cool because like those are the non-greater planets, right? Like Jupiter and Saturn are the greater benefic, the greater malefic. So while Mercury isn't the lesser benefic nor the lesser malefic, it's like the lesser androgynous mutable planet, and Uranus is the greater mutable planet.
Yeah,
and that communication connection is incredible because communication has to be mutable. In order for communication to work, it has to go both ways. And like just like you and Saturn Rooster, he said, "Oh, that's cool. I like that octave of Mercury." So like just with that, it shows like there's like a meeting in the middle, and it requires mutability, good communication.
Yeah, and Hermes is where we get hermaphroditic, right? Hermes is hump day, midweek, midfolk. It's in the middle of the week. It's in between two things, the bipolar. It's not quite masculine, not quite feminine. Well, Janus is the same way, okay? You're seeing two halves represented, two sides represented. And it's really the evolved version. So whereas Hermes is kind of in between the genders, Janus is the same thing. Plus, we're going to get the element of castration or neutering. Okay, new, that's that phonetic root right there. Phoneme is connected to Uranus, Janus, and a couple other gods in different pantheons with new in their name. So that's an important phonetic thread here. So also, Janus, shit, what was I going to say? Okay. Janus is Uranus. That's going to help us understand. All right, let's just talk about Uranus real quick. Mercury's all about communication and kind of the air, but not the sky or the heavens, just kind of the air between us, right? The space between objects down here, right? That's Mercury's domain. Uranus is the sky god, the original sky god, not the sky father. It is, Uranus is a father. Jupiter would come to be the new, when people say sky daddy, like God the Father, that's more Jupiter. But remember, Jupiter has to establish himself. Uranus is more primordial. Uranus is kind of there from the beginning. Uranus is kind of like the unassembled heavens, right? Just primordial. I don't want to say soup or ooze or sludge, but Uranus is the sky, right? Then Saturn comes along, or Kronos, right? Kronos, who is Saturn, castrates Uranus, his father. Castrates Uranus. And in doing that, it creates the gender neutral archetype, which is Janus, Uranus. And then the sign that Janus rules over is Aquarius. And how many times have you heard me say Aquarius, and Merlin too, I bet. Aquarius is the gender neutral LGBTQ sign of the zodiac. We're stepping towards the age of Aquarius, and we're stepping into, unfortunately, an age of LGBT, blah, blah, blah. And that is very in keeping with this castration, deity. Uranus being castrated places him between the genders. So neutered, to be castrated, spayed, neutered. That is a very Janus thing to do. And when we talk about Aquariuses, we use words like unique. They're the most unique sign of the zodiac. Well, guys, are they unique or eunuch? Eunuchs are pretty unique, aren't they? Right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay. And you know what they say? What's the saying? Men are dicks, women are pussies, but everyone's got an asshole, right?
Yeah.
or in them, or something like that. That's not the right way to say it. But the anus is universal, right? It's gender neutral, right? For better or for worse, right? LGBTQ people, they'll tell you all about that. That's the gender neutrality of Uranus, and Janus, Hugh Janus. Okay, right? Merlin's favorite actor, Hugh Janus. All right, let's flip through some more pictures. Unless you
Sure.
got
You want to
anything
go
to say.
temples? No, I mean, like, if we want to talk about, we can go temples, we can go Uranus, the god. We could talk about how what we were just talking about. This is apropos. Heliocentrists love to mess with people with these types of articles about Uranus because
this
the
one's
pronunciation is Uranus originally, the sky god, or Uranus. But how does the average normie? What does a normie say? Right? They go, "Oh, Uranus, Uranus, Uranus," right? And you'll see so many articles like this. A massive object devastated Uranus a long time ago, and it never fully recovered. So, like,
Yep. Or it's like, make sure to go outside after 9 p.m. tonight. Everyone can see Uranus,
yeah, or Uranus is having a mass ejection event tonight. Go look at the stars,
Right.
stuff like that from NASA. It's just ridiculous, just straight mockery.
Right. So that Uranus, as funny as it is, as mocking as it might be, it is true to the archetype and the essence of Aquarius and Janus. So guys, Janus is the god, the Roman god, and Uranus is the planet that we're looking at, right? Painting of a planet. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So in astrology, we say all the different signs of the zodiac kind of get their flavor, their personality from a certain planet. They have like a patron god or a patron saint, right? So Mars rules Aries, Venus rules Taurus, and so on and so on. Aquarius has traditionally been associated with Saturn, and that's true. But Uranus coming onto the scene changed things a little bit. And the fact that Uranus and Janus are one and the same, and Aquarius starts in January, it lines up very nicely. And I'm convinced Uranus is the true and primary ruler of Aquarius. Saturn's involved too. But everything that makes Aquarius unique from Capricorn, in my opinion, comes from Uranus. Uranus is what makes Aquarius bohemian and unique, one in a million, quirky, like an Aquariuses are like an episode of Portlandia. Okay, they are, like I said, bohemian, eccentric. Sometimes they're opposite Leo, so sometimes they can have that. They stand out in a crowd very easily. Stick out like a sore thumb, one in a million, or they're shunned off to the side. Whereas Leo wants to kind of be in the middle of the crowd and get attention like that. Aquarius likes to get attention by being outside of the crowd, not part of the crowd, the rebel, the punk rock. That's another thing about Janus and Aquarius and Uranus. Uranus is the rebel planet, okay, the punk rock planet. Many of the greats of punk rock have been Aquariuses. Johnny Rotten, Billy Joe Armstrong, okay, a couple others I can't remember, but punk is very Uranian. Uranian is the punk rock rebel planet. Aquarius, it's also the innovator, the inventor, innovator, and the genius. So you see, we get the word genius from Janus. They're not going to, Wikipedia is not going to tell you that, blah, blah, blah. I'm saying phonetically. Okay, I'm using God's good Kabbalah, phonetic Kabbalah, Adam's language, okay, the Garden of Eden, the language of the birds, the green language. That's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about your official etymology. We're talking about phonetics here. Oh yeah, Bob Marley. People don't think of Bob Marley as like a punk rocker, but yeah, he was a punk rocker. Okay, that's real punk rock. Resistance, fighting Babylon, right?
Yeah, he was avant-garde, to the max for sure.
Mhm. But all right, Aquarius, the sign of the zodiac, is ruled by Uranus. Aquarius is the pitcher, right? You got any pictures of this?
Oh
Aquarius
yeah.
with a pitcher?
Oh yeah.
Rain. Uranus, guys, we actually get the word urine. So, we're all laughing about anus and Uranus. That's a perfect picture. Thanks.
Mhm.
Uranus is literally etymologically, provably linked to urine. So urine and Uranus or Uranus, right? The old way of saying Uranus. Same etymological root. And what does that have to do with Aquarius? Well, Aquarius is the water being poured down from the heavens. In mythology, they would say, I think in Greek mythology, they said, when Kronos castrated Uranus, the blood splatter like made the first rainstorm on the earth, like
That's
splash
cool.
down to earth. And that is the pouring of the jug and the water and the rain. Think of Uranus raining, right? Undeniably. This is the rain of January in many places on earth. And the jug being poured out. Man, what was I saying?
The first rain on Earth after the castration, and then
Yeah.
it's the rains.
Yeah. Okay. Uranus is urine. Uranus. Okay. So shout out to my urine therapy people out there. Okay. Aquariuses love urine therapy. Like they always talk about it. Aquarius is, that's my experience. Okay. What I've seen. And, you know, angels. Aquarius is associated with angels, and angels, believe it or not, are often depicted peeing into fountains. And cherub, what does cherub mean? Cherubim means Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Aquarius is the last. That's legend, dude. That was quick. That was witty. Entered the stream. That's funny.
Hey.
Yeah. So, all right, yeah, Aquarius. It's the flow. It can be a radio wave. It can be like radiation. It could also be water or wind, right? So people usually say it's the wind, but all right. Remember I was saying gender neutrality? Well, the word queer is found within Aquarius. Queer, Aquarius, right? Also, Mercury is where we get curious. So Mercury and Aquarius have a ton in common. A lot in common, right? Or Gemini and Aquarius too. Gemini and Janus, a lot in common, right? A lot of
Yeah.
what would you call it?
Duality.
A lot of synergy going on. A lot of connections, interconnections there.
Yeah. Gemini's the twins, and Mercury is, you'll see the glyph for Mercury, or not Mercury, I'm sorry, Aquarius. It's two waves. It's not one wave, it's two waves. And those two waves are very cool. But to touch on what you were saying earlier about how it's Aquarius is the rains, it's true. Because those waves represent clouds or snakes. But the clouds, they truly bear the water to earth. And if you think about how water gets to earth, it's a synthesis of all the elements. It takes air, it takes water, obviously, fire to cause the precipitation, and then earth to literally be impregnated. So it's a synthesis of the elements. And this is a good time as any to mention that for each of the different elements, they're associated with the properties of either hot, cold, dry, or wet. And you might think, oh, well, water is wet, but no, water is associated with cold. Fire is hot, earth is dry, and air is wet because air has moisture, right? If water by itself is left alone, think about the depths of the ocean when like water is farthest from any other element, it's cold. Or at the reaches of Antarctica, it's cold, it's ice. So that's how that works. And then when it comes to the glyph for Aquarius representing
Yeah.
snakes, oh, you want to say something, bro? Sorry.
Well, so like water's not wet, it's cold.
Yeah, as far as the properties of the most unique property of the element, like water's obviously wet, but like air has a moisture to it, you know.
Right.
And Aquarius is the rainy season, and you know, think about it, right? We just entered Aquarius, guys, and what's happening with the storm of the century going on right now? Like, is that a coincidence? I don't think so. You know, most brutal storms happen during Aquarius season because it's the rainy, it's the dead of winter. But then here, like if Aquarius is also the snakes too, this is a bit more Saturnian, but the waves for Aquarius do also represent snakes, one dark being matter and one light being spirit. So with Aquarius, you can have that synthesis of matter and spirit.
Nice. Yeah. Let's what's next on the illustrations, the pictures?
We'll save that one. Yeah.
So yeah.
There's a good one. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, so Janus with his two faces, and Janus, the god of keys, right? So keys open gates, locks, right? Doorways, etc. And that's kind of why Janus is in January, the first month, right? Because it's the end, and then it's kind of like you're opening up a new year, right? You're stepping into a new year. And we say that. I think we mentioned that on the New Year's Eve stream. Stepping into a new year, you know, stepping through the doorway.
It's funny, no matter how many New Year streams we do, we'll still get comments like, did you know April's the real New Year? It's just, it's impossible. IRL janitors always have massive keychains too.
Yep, exactly. And that's why janitors, so we're gonna bring it all together here, right? There's just so much to talk about. Janitors aren't called janitors because they clean up piss and shit. It's because they hold all the keys. The janitor holds all the keys, and that is kind of the main crux of like the archetype is they know everything because they can go into all the hidden places. And the janitor, when you're gone from school or wherever, your office, the janitor can check up on everything, right? And keeps tabs on everything and knows your little secrets, knows what's in your little envelopes, and right, maybe they're a little snoopy. But the janitor holds all the keys. Now, I brought up the urine and the anus part because number one, right, they're apparent and obvious. But that's how we can make sense of the occupation and the name. You hold all the keys, and you're working a lot with pee and poop, unfortunately. You know, that's part of the job. So you're cleaning up bathrooms, you're cleaning up fluids that fall from above, you know, down onto the ground. That's 90% of a janitor's job, seems like. And they're doing a lot of cleaning and locking doors, opening doors. So janitor does in fact come from Janus. Let's another image here.
Would you like a janitor up right now, or something else?
No, anything.
This is the god Uranus.
This is Uranus.
Yeah.
Okay.
The sky father.
And guys, Uranus. Let's do a little kind of etymology here. Janus is Uranus. It's shocking how few people actually even address this. Uranus, right? Janus. How many people out there love to talk about there was no such thing as a J until 500 years ago or whatever, right? J, oh, that's the mother of all conspiracy theories, that J didn't exist, right? There's people like that who think that's like the most important thing to talk about. and they never shut up about it. J, okay, and there's a little bit of truth to it. There you go. Yeah, janitor. A lot of J words started with an I or a Y, or that's how you'd say them. So
If you read the
Janus.
King James,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, yeah, if you read the King James version of the Bible, which this show endorses, right, Longo, it's IESUS for Yesus. So that's why people mistake it as, Yeshua or Yeshua or all these different things, because there was no J in Hebrew back in the day.
They're saying, so yeah, Janus, Janus. So Janus, right, is like Janus. So watch this. Uranus, Janus, Janus. Uranus, Janus, Janus. Pretty smooth, right? Pretty easy. But surprisingly, barely anyone talks about that. They're actually trying to hide it. And I'd say that the reason that they named Uranus instead of Janus is because Janus would somehow uncover some conspiracy or point to some truth that they don't want widely disseminated. I don't know. But
knowledge is often occulted for reasons we don't really know the full answer to.
So Janus, now here's a good one. Okay. John the Baptist came before Jesus, and Jesus is Pisces, right? People love to say Jesus is Pisces, the fish. Well, who comes right before Jesus? What comes right before Pisces is the person with the waters, right? With the urn pouring out the waters. A bit baptismal, right? Not necessarily dunking someone in the waters. But when we look at the word John, again, Janus, Yanni, Janus, right? A lot of those John variations of John seem very close to Janus and Ian, Janus, right? Gianni. Oh, here's a good opportunity to talk about genius. Aquarius is the genius of the zodiac. Okay, I think they are the most innovative sign of the zodiac. Genius, very inventive. Okay, very good with electronics, new technologies. Aquarius, right? All about innovation. So they get that from Uranus, who is, oh man, what was I going to say? The genius is kind of like we're talking about having two halves of the face, right? Two faces on the same head. That's kind of like the devil's advocate, or having genie, right? The jinn, having like an angel on one shoulder, a devil on the other. That's like listening to the jinn, having the genie. Now, I'm not going to say it, but I think some of you have probably already said it in your head. I want to show a fun little clip.
Real quick, you associate Mercury with the second chakra from the bottom, right? Which is down where the generative organs are, essentially.
Yeah.
The word genius etymologically goes back to Genesis or generative as well, which is a cool connection, because that genius spark generates and manifests out of nowhere, just like new life generates and manifests out of the genitals. So there's a GEN connection between all those different things.
Totally. And Uranus getting castrated, Kronos had to hold on to his genitals. That's Janus, genital, Uranus, right? Same thing.
And that's why Saturnian archetypes are viewed as selfish. Look at Saturn himself. Castrates dad, eats the babies. Very, very selfish guy, that Saturn. So that's why the archetype exists.
So here, guys, I don't know if we can listen to this because it's one sec. All right, we're going to slow it down a little. And this is from Seamhead33 YouTube channel. but this is like an old documentary or interview clip. Basically, this is Phil Spector. Who knows Phil Spector? Okay. Be my baby. That song, right? You guys know that song?
Not I.
What else did he do? What else did Phil Spector do?
I'll Google it. Phil Spector songs.
Yeah. So Phil Spector is a fucking OG gangster. Okay.
You've lost that lovin' feeling and do Ron Wall
yeah.
of Sound.
Yep. Wall of Sound. Yep. There you go. That's what he's known
Okay.
for. Thanks.
I got
He was a genius engineer, producer, audio engineer, producer, and essentially he helped John Lennon make albums. He helped a lot of pop groups make albums. And he Dion, he did an album with Dion that I really like. And yeah, so more behind the scenes, but he also did sing and made some music. But he wrote all these huge songs like Be My Baby from the Ronettes. And yeah, the Wall of Sound was a way where he would double track, triple track all the instruments. He'd do like multiple takes of the same exact thing, like layered on top of each other. Or he'd have like 5 people playing the same instrument and just microphone the 5 people playing the same part instead of, layering it 5 times. So he'd essentially do like full orchestras of rock music, like 2 bassists playing the same thing. 2 drummers playing the same thing to make everything sound big, big, big. And yeah, I believe he was more in favor of mono too. I think the Wall of Sound only worked in mono. I could be wrong on that. But whatever. We're not going to talk about him too much. I want to do a whole show on him. People don't like to talk about him too much because he ended up allegedly killing his wife. Or is it a wife? I think he imprisoned his wife in the house, like didn't let her leave, and then he killed someone else, I believe. So bit of a no-no, Phil, but not good. But then again, this guy was in some deep doo-doo and rubbed elbows with some of the most powerful, controversial people on the planet. So then who knows? He was old, he was wacky, he was insane. He was of the tribe, we'll just say that. He was a Tengu, to put it plainly.
Oi.
And Phil Spector, let's listen to him. He said something that really stuck with me. So Phil Spector, interesting guy. When he was like losing his mind towards the later part of his life, his hair, when he was like on trial for murder, he had this insane Jufro, like you would not believe. Okay. Yeah, look it up. See if you can get a picture.
Oh yeah, I got you.
Phil Spector Jufro. Legendary Google search right there.
I'm on a list already, bro.
Rourke says $5. Can you please give a top 5 to 10 books you recommend? All right, I'll try and do it quick. Number 1, the Bible. King James Version Bible with the Apocrypha. If you can get one with the Book of Enoch, that's even better, but hard to get. Complete works of William Shakespeare. I love William Shakespeare. Complete works of Plato. Then what? Secret Teachings of All Ages. Got to throw that in there, right? Just for everyone. That's a must-have. What else? In terms of enjoyment, like my actual favorite books, recommend. When you say recommend, that makes me think like you're going to get the most out of it. The average listener will get the most out of it. One of my favorite books, 7 Pillars of Wisdom by T.E. Lawrence. That's Lawrence of Arabia. That's more adventure, but also very philosophical and amazing. What else? What is that? That's like 5, right? You asked
Yeah.
for 5. That's 5. I'll shout another 5 out at the end, maybe. I'd have to think about it a little bit. But those ones are easy, and those are my easy top 5.
I'm gonna throw out, just to have it next to me, The Light of Egypt by Thomas H. Burgoyne. Pretty good.
Oh, really?
Pretty good book.
I read that one. I didn't like it too much.
It's got some theosophy in it, but it's got some pretty good stuff as well.
Yeah, I think I just already digested most of that material through Santos.
Yeah, for sure.
So
that's why it got me into it. Yeah.
By the time I read it, I was like, already heard a lot of this from.
And
Santos.
I put a link in private chat, but that can wait for later. No rush. Let's hear from this dude.
Cool. All right, yeah. So there's 5 books. Maybe I'll throw out 5 more, but those are like, if you have those 5. And I heard Terrence McKenna say this one time. Terrence McKenna, infamous pothead, fucked his brain up like a ton with all these drugs and all this shit. But undeniably one of the smartest guys alive when he was alive. Encyclopedic, brain. Very smart guy. And his memory was amazing. Despite all the weed, all this crap, and his vocabulary, pretty good too. What did he? And I heard him say one time, if you speak English, you essentially need to read the complete works of Plato and the King James Version Bible. Sorry, not Plato. The complete works of William Shakespeare and the King James Version Bible. And I didn't know exactly why. Now I understand how important those 2 were to the English language as a whole, right? But King James Version Bible, William Shakespeare, complete works of Plato in English, Thomas Taylor translation, preferably, and then 7 Pillars of Wisdom, and I think 1 more or whatever else. Whatever. All right, Phil Spector from the Seamhead 33 YouTube channel. This is from an old documentary from like 2008 or something. Let's hear what he has to say. Might have to cut this out. I think they used like a John Lennon song in here.
Oh, no.
Can you hear it?
Yeah, I just heard it, yeah.
All right, going to try and get the bits with no music.
That is so important, but you just don't know what you're doing. That is so important, but it's different, and it's important. And maybe that's what the word genius is. Maybe that's it. The genie in us, the gene in us. It's the step that makes you able to see above when everybody is seeing on the same level. You see it, but you don't know why you're seeing. You're not taller than everybody else, but you're seeing things above everybody else that nobody is quite seeing, but you can't explain it. But 50 years from now, you're going to be being asked questions about this day, and you're going to have to remember this day. That people are going to be asking you about it. And I bet Berlin knew it, and I bet Mozart knew it.
So you hear that? Genius is the genie in us. You're listening to this, someone who's contributing, right, ideas to you from the inside, whether that's God, whether it's a higher power, your higher self, whoever Carlos Santana lights his incense to when he makes his songs. I don't know, but the genie in us, whether that's like devil's advocate, like the good or the bad, listening to the angel or the devil. But genius is the genie in us. Also, Aquarius is the sign of the zodiac with the urn or the bottle or the vase. And the genie comes from a bottle or an urn, right? So again, another connection between genie, Janus, Uranus, and Aquarius. So genie, all the same. So okay, let's flip through all the other pictures.
Yeah, I've got one up of that fro that you were looking for. He's looking sharp.
Hell yeah. No, that's not even the worst one, dude.
That's not. Oh man, that's the worst I could find at a quick search.
Dude. No, you're slacking, bro.
Typically, yeah.
All right, hang on. All right, you ready for this?
What do you got? But yeah, dude, he shot some actress in the mouth, man, in his home.
He killed her?
Let me read the rest of this wiki real quick. It says on February 3rd, 2003, Spectre shot actress Lana Clarkson in the mouth while in his mansion. Her body was found slumped in a chair. Yeah, I assume she's dead.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, not great. Not great.
Dude, look at his hair.
Yeah, he killed her. She was young too, man. 40 years old. Oh my gosh.
Him on trial with that hair. What a statement.
Way more hair than me. Sheesh.
So, yeah, Phil Spector is hilarious and pretty tragic story. He might have been just crazy. I know that's not an excuse, but he might have been set up by someone. Okay, it's like a Michael Jackson level player in the music industry. This guy, like everything he touched turned to gold. He was like the you can't even compare him to anyone else. Mark Ronson, he's like the Rick Rubin, Mark Ronson, Timbaland, all the best producers and wrapped up into one back in the 60s and the 70s. Total mad scientist and a genius. And I believe he was a Capricorn, not a Aquarius. Let me check that. But born in January.
He was a Capricorn,
yeah. Sorry, December. Born in December.
Yeah, 26, I think.
Yeah, Capricorn. So Capricorn does, run into January. So a little bit of a connection there. But all right, moving on. Sorry, I keep removing you. Sorry.
You're good, man. Oh, and just so people know, like if you see our screens flicker, it's not us. I think there's like power outages going around. It's like our cameras keep cutting in and out once in a while. It's not us. But you mentioned that Aquarius is John the Baptist. And this is one of the number one, if I had to recommend any astrotheology book, it's this one, The Devil's Pulpit by the Reverend Robert Taylor. One of the best works of astrotheology ever. And in this book, he makes the case plainly that John the Baptist is Aquarius. So that's pretty cool. I've got it bookmarked somewhere in my copy that's not in this room with me. But yeah, I highly, highly recommend that book.
That's nice.
So yeah, a massive object devastated Uranus a long time ago and never fully recovered. St. Peter and Janus, you got John the Baptist and Janus more than St. Peter and Janus. But Janus is alleged to keep the keys to heaven, and so does St. Peter. So there's a little bit of a connection there. They're both the keepers of the keys.
Let's any more pictures before we get into the movies?
Yeah, sure. So we've got the ruins. If you want to talk about the ruins, you asked for the temple stuff.
So yeah, real quick on Janus, the Roman god Janus. There were temples to Janus, but Janus did not have his own priesthood or cult. At least not, widespread as the other gods. In fact, Janus was usually invoked at the beginning and end of other processions. So like Janus rarely had kind of his own thing going on, It did happen. Janus had his own holiday, I believe. But no devoted priest class. Now, all right, yeah, that's it. I think that's all I had to say about Janus.
Cool.
All right, Janus, Uranus, Aquarius. Now we're done with that. Let's get into the movies. All right, folks. Make sure your popcorn's all done. Let's start off with Good Will Hunting. That's the most one. Yeah, we got keys.
There it is.
Good Will Hunting, folks. All right. If you don't know what Good Will Hunting is about, we're going to watch a little kind of snippet. we're gonna watch a nice little breakdown. This is from the Dank Win YouTube channel called Goodwill Smith, and this have you ever watched this? Do you know what this is?
No. Is this like
Oh,
the whitest kids you know or something, or what?
No, you're gonna love this. All right.
Okay.
So yeah, guys, this is if you haven't seen Goodwill Hunting, now you'll get caught up. You'll be brought up to speed. This is like Artie Lang, or however you say his name, and what's his name? Norm Macdonald. All right. Oh, whoops.
You know, what was your thing? Goodwill Smith? How'd that one go?
I was just,
You hear that
on Mad
Nazgul?
TV,
You hear that?
What was it?
Who knows the Nazgul? You know the Nazgul in the Lord of the Rings?
That did sound like a Nazgul. Yeah.
Dude, that's the Nazgul. Spot on Nazgul from the Lord of the Rings.
We're going to those, you know. What was your thing? Goodwill Smith? How'd that one go?
I was just, you know, it's,
on Mad TV, they would often
like parodies.
combine two things.
I pitched a thing called
Goodwill Smith.
Goodwill Smith, and
right.
he worked at an all-black college, and you know the problem on the blackboard that no one could solve was 2 + 2. And Will Smith plays a janitor who puts a 4, and they go, "Who solved this?" It took the professors 8 years to figure this one. They rejected it. They said it was like racist.
Dude, that's hilarious.
They said it was racist.
So yeah, guys, that's what Goodwill Hunting is pretty much about. So yeah, Goodwill Hunting is a movie about a janitor. He's a janitor who's actually secretly really smart. He's a genius. And he sees a problem, there's like a challenge, like an unsolvable problem on the whiteboard. And in his time off, he like solves it, or solves most of it, right? And then like walks away. Well, then they, Robin Williams, who I fucking hate, I can't stand him, okay? Piss on him. Okay, I hope he's rotting.
Wow, he's so beloved, Longo.
Hope he's rotting in hell, honestly.
Longo.
Yeah.
My goodness, dude.
Fuck Robin Williams.
What? He's beloved.
Bitch ass. Yeah. Yeah. Robin Williams is... All right, no, I'll take it easy on him. All right. So Robin Williams, takes Matt Damon under his wing and is like, oh, we got to do something with your potential. And well, he's a janitor, right? He likes to kind of party and drink, screw around with his friends. What?
Someone said he's alive according to the fittest flat earther.
That's pretty funny. All right.
Sorry, I'm having a fucking coughing fit. Oh my god, that was good.
So Matt Damon's a genius, right? He's a genius and he's a janitor. So there you go. Genius janitor number 1. That's the most famous, right? Version, I guess. But anything you want to say about Goodwill Hunting and Janus?
I love the movie. I mean, Goodwill, just the name, everyone knows, okay, willpower, but Goodwill is a very Aquarian thing because Leo is opposite Aquarius. Like you said, Leo's all about pride, where Aquarius is the opposite. It's humility. They're a very giving people, Aquarians. And so are Leos, but in different ways. Like you said, Leos like being in the center, where Aquarians are more subtle in their giving nature. So, goodwill is just something that Aquarians tend to have in abundance. It's the humanitarian of the zodiac, which does relate to the whole LGBTQ thing, like you were talking about, how that's also Aquarian. That's an excess of goodwill. Oh, everything's okay. Oh, just be nice. Just be nice. Just be nice. Very, very Aquarian trait.
Hey, that's a good link right here. Janus 3366 said Matt Damon and demon equals genius. And yeah, you don't even have to say demon, because before demon became the predominant, like, spelling or wording of it, daemon used to be a way to say angel, like good or bad, like daemon. Daemon was essentially the same as saying jinn. I believe, who was it? Was it Socrates who had a daemon? Let me check.
Yeah, and
Socrates have a daemon. Yeah, daemonian. Daemonian. It was a daemon, Daimon, demon, essentially. But back then, demon did not necessarily mean only a bad one, right? It was a whole class of being, and there was good or bad. So now we make the distinction between angel and demon. That distinction was blurry, if not non-existent, back.
completely non-existent, because astrologically speaking, the 11th and 12th house over in the top left of the chart, the 11th house, which is the house of friendship, we know now, but it used to be the house of the good daemon. And then the 12th house, which is the house of hidden enemies, is the house of the bad daemon. So there were good daemons and bad daemons. They were literally angels and demons, but they were all called daemons.
What's the main character's name in this? Is it Will?
It's Will Hunting, yeah. And interestingly, going back to Uranus, the girl he's after is Skylar, the sky. So there's that.
Good.
Skyla. Yo, Skyla. Let's go get some drinks with the boys, Skyla. That's a big part of the movie. They drink a lot and fucking shoot the shit.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's good. Matt Damon. It's like saying Matt Genius or Matt Genie, Matt Gin. Ooh, I think did Phil Spector record Imagine with
John Lennon?
John Lennon? If so, then Imagine
Mm.
all the this or that. All right. So yeah, Good Will Hunting, genius, janitor. Okay. Mathematics. Aquariuses are often very good with mathematics. Okay. Who's a famous genius Aquarius mathematician? Let me double check this. Yep. Francis Bacon. Francis Bacon. Shout out to Francis Bacon, the English mathematician.
Shall you?
He might have been a Capricorn cusp, but he's right there, January 22nd. Francis Bacon. Birthday.
Nice.
January 22nd. All right. What's the next movie? What was the next one we had?
We got Bruce Almighty.
Bruce Almighty. And just real quick on Genius and Janus and the Janitor. Yeah, like coding, mathematics, a lot of that Aquarius is excelling. Okay. Maybe not math on its own, but engineering, mathematics necessary for engineering or things like that. Aquarius is excel at that. So now we're on, what's this movie called?
Bruce Almighty with
Bruce.
Morgan Freeman, the gravitas man,
Thanks.
as God.
No Coiner 5599 with the $2 says the word jaw/gnaw. Mouth Uranus relationship. I don't know. But also Aquarius is a sign of knowledge. So there is this connection between knowledge, knowing things, and genius, right? And gnosis. Gnosis, some would argue that gnosis has a lot to do with fluids, right? Fluids from heaven, right? So the silent G, okay, maybe there's a little something to that. Silent K words and silent G words maybe do have something to do with Uranus or Aquarius, because, yeah. Also, we were talking about genitals janitor, genitals, right? Gender. Aquarius is all about gender, right? Gender studies, LGBT, this and that. How close is gender to janitor? If you say janitor really fast, it's like you're saying gender.
Yeah.
So,
and janitors got to go into the bathrooms of both genders, you know, whereas
Ooh.
everyone normally can't, but a janitor can.
yes, I think we brought that up in the last show a year ago. That's a good point. The only person allowed to go into both of the bathrooms, both restrooms, is the janitor.
Or
Okay.
ma'am.
Is that the GameStop man?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, next movie. Oh no, sorry. We haven't talked. No, go back. One more, please.
Yeah, I like this quote. I want to talk about this quote later.
Mhm.
But yeah. So Bruce Almighty has a movie. We got Morgan Freeman and Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, also born in January, I believe. He is, or at least Capricorn.
He looks very Capricornian.
Yep, January 17th. So he's close to the Aquarius cusp, a little bit close. But a January kid. JC also, his initials.
Hmm.
And, you know, they use Jim Carrey in a lot of really significant conspiracy theory rabbit hole movies. The Truman Show, I've done a show on this channel.
Eternal Sunshine.
Mhm. So Morgan Freeman, well, the black man's god, of course he is. I can't do a Morgan Freeman impersonation. Let me try actually.
Is
Let's
he
see what I
calling
can-
in?
Oh well, I can't do it. No.
You got to talk to Andy Dufresne.
Well.
You see, Andy.
Oh well, you know that. No, I can't. Someone yeah, he's hard.
We're gonna get arrested when Trump's not president, dude.
So oh here, I can actually hang on, I forgot. I actually know how to do an amazing Morgan Freeman impersonation.
Don't get me fired, dude.
Man, when them
relax, Longo.
when them snap benefits getting in, boy.
Oh my god, dude.
When my EBT card turning back on.
Damn it, Longo.
That wasn't me. Someone called in. Someone hacked the stream.
Yeah, it is glitchy tonight for sure. Something's going on. Something funky's afoot.
Oh, here. You want to hear my Morgan Freeman impersonation? Are you ready?
Yeah, I guess I have to be. Let's go.
Oh, well. Well, now.
Have you seen the Neil deGrasse Tyson meme with that shit or no?
Neil deGrasse Tyson
Hey,
chicken wings.
Yeah.
Which one?
Oh, it's like we can't explain how it chirps. We know why it chirps. We know that it chirps. It's like a very Neil deGrasse Tyson way.
Mhm.
I'll send it to you later. All right, Bruce Almighty. We're talking Morgan Freeman God. Jim Carrey gets to be God for a little bit.
Yeah. So Jim
Great
Carrey gets to play God. Morgan Freeman is God. Lets him try out being God. To teach him a lesson, to teach him kind of humility. I don't know what else to teach him, but it's kind of similar to what's the one where Liar, Liar, where is that the one where he has to tell the truth?
Yeah, and liar. He is a lawyer. Lawyers have to lie. It's part of their
Right.
profession.
Yep, very Libra coded.
Mm-hmm.
This one's very Uranus, Janus, Aquarius coded. But Bruce Almighty, I think my mom loved this movie growing up. When I was growing up, so I saw it a lot. But yeah, he's not necessarily a genius. Okay, I'm not saying that because he's black. I'm not saying that because whoa, hang on.
Longo.
Hey, slow down. You guys, slow. I'm not saying that because he's all right.
We've already gone too far.
He's
This point no return.
He's not a genius in this movie, but it is the same archetype where he's the wise one. He knows everything. You know, God knows everything. Okay. He is the janitor because God kind of knows what's in your locker, you know, what's all the messes you've made and the messes you've walked away from and all that, you know. So he's not like a genius in this movie, but he knows everything. He has all the answers. You know, he knows the future. This is all the Janusian Janus kind of stuff going on. So he is God, right? But Janus. Thoughts, Marlon?
Yeah, what's cool about this movie, at the end, I don't know if you can get this on the screen so I could see this. I love this. This goes to like free will and like why God gave us free will. But right now our pictures are blocking it.
Oh,
Kinda
yeah.
like a little, yeah. So yeah, right. This is the very end of the movie. He's like, oh, putting your soup is not a miracle, Bruce. It's a magic trick. A single mom who's working 2 jobs and still finds time to take her kid to soccer practice. That's a miracle. A teenager who says no to drugs and yes to an education. That's a miracle. People want me to do everything for them. What they don't realize is they have the power. You want to see a miracle, son? Be the miracle. And that is, in my opinion, a great Christian message. Like God gave us free will. Like if he wanted to, he could make our lives have no struggle, make us not have to do anything. And yet we're put here in this realm with free will, and we have the opportunity to exercise and grow and strengthen and exert that free will onto the realm. And we should, like be the change you want to see. It's a very good thing. Very good message at the end of the movie, I think.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah, I like that movie. It was pretty good. But yeah, Morgan Freeman is God disguised as a janitor, right? And when we first see him in the movie, I believe he's all the way up at the top of a ladder. And when you see, I think we really focused on this in the last stream a year ago, I think. In a lot of Masonic art, you see the key at the top of the ladder. Masonic key ladder art. Let's see.
That was a good point in chat. How many movies do they pretend to be a janitor to sneak into places? Very true. All those heist movies, they'll pretend to be a janitor, and that will get them access.
Mm-hmm.
And which is why pretend geniuses even do pretty well sometimes, like Einstein.
So in Masonic art, there's often a ladder that sometimes has keys on it. Sometimes it's an anchor.
Your screen's not up. I don't know if you're trying to share it or not.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm gonna now.
Okay.
This is like, this is very typical of Masonic artwork. You see the ladder between the pillars, right? There'll be a key somewhere. See the key dangling from the ladder? You see it?
Yeah. Yep. It's there.
This one's got an anchor.
Very Truman Show-esque, honestly. At the end when he climbs up those stairs.
Yep, Truman Show. So ladder, stairs. What's crazy is if you go back to that other scene, please. Damn, we got a fat tip, boy. All right, Merlin. Shit, dude. Time to start getting naked. All right. $100. All right, let's make this quick. Thanks. How many tokens is that? Oh, sorry, wrong website. How many Pharaoh Talians, however you say this. Far out aliens. Is that how you say it? I think that's probably how you say it. Far out aliens. The $100. Appreciate that, man. Oh, look, put a message on there too. Merlin wearing nothing now. No, just kidding. Sorry. No, thanks for the $100, man. If there's anything we can do for you, just let me know. But thanks for the $100.
Very
Really
kind.
really appreciate it. I should just start putting my like Zelle up on here, my Venmo or something, because YouTube takes a decent amount of money. They take like almost half, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it nonetheless. Thanks, man. Thanks, Far Out. If you want me to do anything for you or answer a question, just let me know. Appreciate it, man. Or woman. Janus, or both.
Hey, it's 2026.
Yeah.
So you were saying this scene.
Yeah, so I think either this scene or one of the other scenes when Jim's character, Bruce, first meets Morgan Freeman, the God character. Remember, like you're saying, free will, Morgan, Freeman, free man, Lucifer, free will, free man, whatever. Morgan Freeman, in one of these scenes, he's at the top of a ladder where he asks Jim to like come up to the top of a ladder. And it's very Masonic, especially the scene it happens in. You see the stairway behind him? You see the word stairway, right?
Yeah.
You see he's kind of not going to stretch it too much, but there are two pillars on screen as well. But yeah.
His head is framed by two pillars in a way, in the window, but they're there.
Yeah. Now that has to do with the keys and the stairway, right? Or the ladder in the Masonic art. We won't focus on that too much, but there's more than just him being a janitor that points to a Janus archetype here. He performs some miracles, right? There's talk of angels as well. Aquarius is the angel of the zodiac. Oh yeah, you could say he has a bucket of sorts right here, like water, mopping. Saw the comment.
That was a good connection right there, actually. That's really good.
Mm-hmm. So, all right, next movie.
Scrubs.
Scrubs comedy show. Reruns on Comedy Central for like years. Grew up watching a lot of this. I did not like it much. I didn't like it. I know Merlin likes it, but
love Scrubs.
Yeah. Scrubs was always on when I was a kid, and I would always just wait for something else to come on or something. I don't know. Never liked it. But this character who always stood out to me was the janitor. Again, it's the same kind of archetype where the janitor is it's janitor's surprisingly wise, surprisingly knowledgeable, surprisingly innovative, right? Often getting people out of trouble, offering last minute advice, life-saving advice, right? Often, times where like the doctor doesn't know how to save this person's life and the janitor has just the answer, just the right. So this janitor, same thing. Go ahead.
He'll say something that like inspires that spark of genius, like, oh, that's what I needed for this spark. So yeah, very Aquarian right there.
Yep. So yeah, Scrubs. What's next?
Classic show. What is this? Ned's Declassified?
Yeah. Ned's Declassified, another like comedy. This is a kid's show, but the janitor, maybe not as wise, but always kind of offering help or giving advice, helping people sneak away, right? Rescuing people, stuff like that. Being kind of also, a lot of these janitors are just weird and quirky, right? Very Aquarian. right?
Very
Like,
Aquarian. Yes.
I like to be by myself. I like to, I don't care if people think I'm weird or nasty or if, smell a little bit because the job, whatever. Aquariuses are like that. Okay, moving on. We don't have to talk about this one too much.
Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
I'm not too familiar with this, but apparently this guy is like a bit of a mad scientist guy. But yeah, another janitor. All right, go to the Breakfast Club.
never
We can
seen
talk
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
Carl.
Breakfast Club. That's the big one. Okay, that's the next big one that a lot of people know. Breakfast Club, as campy as that is, and cliche, I really like the Breakfast Club. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, when they're fucking smoking the weed in the library, I was like, hell yeah, man. That was like me in high school, like exactly, a little bit.
See, I would take
Detention. They're in detention. The whole show's about them being in. The whole movie's about them being in detention.
I would take Goodwill Hunting over Breakfast Club any day, honestly.
Damn,
Yeah,
it's
man.
crazy. Damn.
Maybe not any day, but most days for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would take Breakfast Club every single day of the week. Breakfast Club, I think it's good. It captures the 80s so well. It's like one of the most quintessential emblematic, 80s movies. It's like, yeah. And dude, I smoked weed in detention. Like that was like the same thing, They sent me to detention and then you smoke weed in detention. It's like, dude, it's hilarious.
I never had detention once, ever.
Really?
Really. Never had detention, never got suspended.
Dude, I would get detention left and right in high school, and I would read. That's when I'd read books.
Huh.
I read the whole Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series, like multiple times, all 3 books in detention in high school, and I don't know if Lawrence of Arabia. Maybe I started chipping away at in detention, like my senior year of high school. But I read some good books in detention, high as fuck, with a dab pen. Dude, there are these kids who snuck a homemade dab pen into detention. And then we all had like some oil or whatever. And he was like, "Nah, bro, this shit doesn't smell. It doesn't smell. It's like a super high-tech pen." We dropped some oil on there. It reeked. Okay, it reeked right away. Had to with our notebooks, crack the window, like air it out real quick and spraying cologne. But all right.
Drugs are bad, kids.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm just kidding. THCA. Totally fake weed always. I've never ever smoked weed in my life. So this movie, we're talking about the movie. I was just joking. I was being fictional. I was putting myself into the movie, actually. So Goodwill, no, it's not Goodwill Hunting.
Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club is about kids who are put in detention for, it's like 6 kids, I think.
A ragtag bunch, a diverse cast, different archetypes, the nerd, the jock, all those different things.
Exactly. There's like the nerd or like the geek, the nerd, the jock, the princess or like the prom queen, the bully or like the outlaw.
The stoner, the outcast on purpose.
And then like the goth girl.
The weird girl, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like 5 or 6. 5.
I think it's 6. Yeah, whatever. It's something like that, yeah.
5 or 6 kids in detention, and the guy watching over their detention is like a hard ass. He's like, "No talking, no nothing. Write your essay, and I'll be back here in a little bit." Okay. Whereas the janitor, so the only other like adult character in the movie is the janitor. The only people at school that day are the teacher, who does the bullhorns, right? Like infamously, he says, you know, you mess with the bull, you get the horns. He says something like that. Whereas the janitor is like, he's on their side, you know, he's kind of helping them get away with stuff. He knows that the one guy's got weed in his locker. He knows all their secrets. And he says this multiple times, you know, I know everything that goes on in this institution. I am the eyes and ears of this establishment, I think is what he says.
Of this institution.
Institution.
Yeah.
And he says some very Uranian, Aquarian things, and he does give advice at one point too. So giving advice, knowing everything, right? Being wise, and he's also kind of eccentric, a bit of an eccentric, you know, quirky guy himself. And so yeah, another smart janitor, you know. Smart, and I believe he talks about, oh yeah, just the janitor, yeah, don't listen to me, yeah. You know, just a janitor. So
very humble, very Aquarian, humility.
And yeah.
Next up.
Who's next?
The Keymaker from the Matrix. I think this is the last one.
Oh, okay.
But extremely Aquarian.
Yeah, I don't know much about this. I think I only saw one of the Matrixes.
I only saw this one like when it came out in theaters, like way back in the day. But you know, the Keymaker, Janus rules keys. You know, they got to, again, like, you know, escaping the Matrix. What more of a truther archetype is there than, bro, you got to escape the Matrix, bro? And in the movie, you know, Neo, the one, and of course you are Neo, you are the one, has to get to the Keymaker to escape the Matrix. And there are all these doors, right? So a very strong Janus energy coming from the Keymaker. And, you know, he says that, you know, oh, we have to do this, but we only have 314 seconds to do it. So, you know, they're like, oh, just over 5 minutes. But again, 314, you should know that's pi. So like they really, there's a lot of gravy in there too. And then what's interesting, you know, the one of the main villains in the Matrix is the Merovingians. And that's cool because it goes back to, like, you know, the Merovingian kings, the people who thought that they were the bloodline of Jesus, and ruled over Europe for some hundreds of years because of that. So yeah, a lot of Janus Uranian gravy in that. Got a little super chat, nice, or a big super chat, very, very kind.
Yeah, Michael Kennedy 3588 says, with $20, says, love your channel, keep up the good work. Thanks, man. Appreciate the support. Did you throw Wally in here too?
I did, and I could pull up a Wally. So yeah, I tried asking you, like, did you want Wally? This is just the main. I've never seen the movie, just the main character, Wally.
Yeah. So Aquarius also kind of rules robots, and like, so Wally is essentially like the janitor of planet Earth. It's like a robot left over on Earth after humans like destroyed the planet and like left into space. And there is one robot, maybe more, I forget, I haven't seen it. Robot who's left to like start cleaning up Earth a little bit, right? And starts planting life, I guess, starts developing, nurturing, right? Like plant life or whatever. But yeah, cleanup crew and a robot, and in the future. So very Uranian. I thought it was worth mentioning.
For sure.
Someone said, bro, Steve Buscemi as the janitor in The Island is worth mentioning.
Let me pull it up.
Maybe it is.
I've never seen it.
All right. Was that it for janitors? Ned's declassified. We talk about Yeah.
The
Genius
last,
Janitor.
yeah.
Oh, here's one that we didn't talk about. Neo, since we're looking at him. Neo, what else does Neo mean? It means new. The new age, right? Neo is supposed to be like a new Jesus, like the Jesus of the new age, like the digital age.
A Messiah. Yeah.
It's like saying Neo-Platonist or like neo-Nazi, neo-Marxist, like the new version. And remember, new goes back to Uranus and Janus as well, because there's a god named New. That person, the Janus person, said this also. Enki. Yep. Neo.
Janus. Yeah, look at that.
Well, all right, man. Anything else worth mentioning?
As far as Uranus and the genus Janitor, I think that's what I got. There was some stuff we didn't have time for last week. If you want to hit that now, if you got time for it, it's up to you.
Nah, we should just wrap it up.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say like message in a bottle. That was one thing I had written down. Message in a bottle. It's like a genie in a bottle, right? Like a message in a bottle, genie in a bottle, whatever.
Oh, someone in chat said mention more books. What I threw in private chat, I made a short with like my top 5 astrology books recently. If you want to just run that real quick, you don't have to, but he asked for books, so.
Okay.
But yeah, because like when he asked top 5 books, these are my top 5 astrology. So.
Sure. I guess I can think of some books real quick. Where'd you say they were? In the private chat?
Yeah, in StreamYard. It's just a YouTube Shorts link.
Okay, I'm gonna drop that.
You guys want astrology books or just literature in general, more broadly?
Yeah, here, let me check. I think I have a list.
You can play the short if you want, Longo. Just you want to share your
say.
screen? Yeah, sure. Astrology books, just random shit I got next to me. Raphael's Famous Key to Astrology, decent starter horror book, but I wouldn't recommend it. This is the goated book, #1 book to start with for astrology. It's called Astrology for Initiates. My humble opinion. Longo may disagree, but Astrology for Initiates by Pappas. It does not get better than this. Longo and I both recommend Aleister Crowley, The General Principles of Astrology. This is a dope book. It is a big book and has a hefty price tag. It's $100, but it is worth its weight in, probably not silver, but it's worth its weight in something, probably. Definitely a good read. Crowley is not what most people think. And I say that having a few Crowley books right next to me.
Yeah. We don't I thought I had a list, like a reading list already made, but I don't. I'll probably have to make one if you guys are interested. Let's see, what other books are good? Astrology, A Cosmic Science by Isabel Hickey, I think her name is. Rulership book by Rex E. Bills is also a must-have for astrologers. It's not like a good book, though. It's just like an awesome book to have, It's what else?
I honestly, I don't know if you agree, Longo, but I really like Neville Goddard. Big Neville Goddard fan. He writes about the Bible. He's a Christian author, and he does a bit of astrotheology, and I like Neville Goddard a lot. He's considered New Age, but I don't know. I do like it.
Yeah, let's see. What else?
Oh, this is a cool book. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I don't know. One that I read not too long ago, like 2 years ago, was La Florida del Inca. And I just thought that was amazing. My brother read it too. He liked it. And that one's just like a good story. So I don't know if other people would like it as much, but I love it because it's all about Florida. And it's like a great epic adventure action story set in Florida 500 years ago, roughly, 190 years ago. And it's about the De Soto expedition, Hernando de Soto expedition into Florida, 1537-ish, around there. Crazy story. Has giants in America, giants in Florida, has black people in America 500 years ago. It has crazy stories. It's like a Star Wars or like Star Trek episode. There's a king who's so fat that he can only roll. He's so
That's
fat.
me, bro. Dude, a must read, man. Long ago mentioned Plato earlier. Start with the Symposium. It's got to read the Symposium.
Yeah.
I'd also recommend Gorgias. Like, as far as Platonic dialogues go, I love Gorgias. It teaches you rhetoric better than anything.
Okay, here's another one. True Messiah. True Messiah by, I forget who, but it's about Apollonius of Tyana. Apollonius, however you say it.
Oh, dude, talk about just classics too. Fahrenheit 451, just gotta have it. This book gets more true every year. It literally has AirPods in it. It's crazy. This book is so good.
True Messiah, about my other favorite philosopher. So I like Plato the best. Apollonius or Apollonius is my favorite philosopher. Plato's the greatest, objectively. But Apollonius is my favorite. And I used to think he might be Jesus. A lot of people have thought that he was like the real Jesus because his name is kind of similar.
Apollo, yeah, the sun god.
Apollonius is like son of the sun, or like from the sun, But yeah, this one's really good. And just, it's hard to find good info on Apollonius, but this is one of my favorite books. Some of my favorite quotes that I like say weekly come from here. Like, what is the goal of life? Someone asked Apollonius, what is the goal of life?
And you said what? To exceed your father in virtue and best your enemies in battle, or something like that?
To vanquish your enemies at arms and to surpass or to exceed your father in virtue. So that's like maybe not like everyone's goal for their own lives, but that's like the mark of a successful life for a man. Like, you may have wanted to win this many championships or to get that car, or to get that job, or what. Maybe you didn't make it. But if you vanquished your enemies more often than not, won more than you lost, and you were a better, more virtuous person than your father, you've pushed the chains forward. The ball's been moved forward. Like, you're advancing in the right direction.
Yeah.
So, and then what else? What else did he say? There's some really good ones in there. I forget.
If you're into astrology, in my opinion, you got to be familiar with George Carey. He wrote God, Man, the Word Made Flesh, and the Zodiac, the Source of Salvation, both of which are very famous in Santos circles, I would say. Both incredible reads. This one's super short, very profound. And Zodiac and the Source of Salvation is one of the best astrological works of the last 200 years, easily, hands down.
Yep. Totally. Well, all right, guys. That's pretty much it. And I'll come up with a reading list. I'll come up with a nice long reading list. But I told you the big ones. And you know, I like to read, but I don't read as much as my brother. I don't read just for the sake of reading to like kill time. I read because I want what's in the book. If I could eat the book and get what's inside of it, I'd do that. Okay. But reading, you know, it's good for the brain, it's good for imagination. It's good for your eyes, actually, believe it or not. If you're doing it right.
Too much ganja consumption killing your reading desire. That's why you
No.
want to eat it, bro. You got the munchies. You want to eat the book, not read the book, bro.
Yeah, bro. Fahrenheit 420, bro.
Oh shit, lit.
Dude,
if you had a website, the reading list could be there, man.
You know, I love reading, but I'm not like huge on fiction. Like I don't read just to occupy my time, you know? But the things that I'd rather go back to something that I know I love, basically. I'd rather go back to the Bible, go back to William Shakespeare, chip away at something, or, you know, flesh something out that I've been interested in for a while. So I did tell you the things that I'd like to read the most already. Complete works of William Shakespeare, complete works of Plato, Thomas Taylor translation, preferably. King James Version Bible, 7 Pillars of Wisdom by Lawrence of Arabia, or T. Lawrence, and yeah, I think that's it. If you read those a lot, you'll be measurably smarter. Like those books will, you know, and I'm not the most like eloquent or articulate, but I get told a lot that I'm articulate, and you know, I'd like to take credit, but I read a lot of you know, wordy stuff here and there, and you know, Shakespeare is like lonely. Words like lonely come from Shakespeare. How many times do we use those a day? You know? Shh.
And
So,
dude, you gotta be able to read Shakespeare in his original text, because if you can't do that, you can't read the King James Version Bible, because they're written in the same manner essentially. So you have to be able to truly understand Shakespeare and know your thee, thy, thou, etc. So
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Shakespeare is almost like fan fiction, and it's like the NSFW spin-off material from the Bible. They got all the greatest geniuses in one room to draft the King James Version Bible to get it into a nice, crisp, pure, standardized English. And then with that standardized English, they then start pumping out comedies, tragedies, you know, fiction, somewhat semi-fictional in some cases, you know, histories, you know, the histories,
dramatized histories, yeah,
kings and queens, and you know, all the King Henrys and stuff like that. Their history, but it's kind of like Inglorious Bastards or some of other Quentin Tarantino's movies where it's like a literary work. You're not literal. You're saying it's you can take real characters or real figures from history and kind of tweak it a little bit and use a little bit of fiction. But all right, what were we
dude
talking
loves
about?
feet, man.
Who?
Quentin Tarantino is a foot dude. Weird, man.
Yeah.
Weird, bro.
Totally. Yeah, if you watch his movies, it's like impossible to ignore now once you know it. But all right.
We have a Shakespeare episode coming up sometime in the future.
Oh, this is perfect. This is a perfect segue. Our next show. Let's do it our next show.
Yeah, Shakespeare next up. Okay.
Shakespeare and astrology, Shakespeare and magic. You got a good book somewhere.
Are there any specific plays you want to talk about? Or are we just going to bring whatever we want to talk about to the table?
We're going to watch some videos, and 2 really, really good videos from Priscilla Costello. Okay, there's another book, Wiser Guide to Practical Astrology by Priscilla Costello. She's a Florida woman. Okay, I think she retired to Florida. I don't know if she was born here. Sounds like she's from like New York or something. But she's a legend. Genius. Okay, one of the greatest women on the internet, just pumping out hardcore knowledge and information. Like, honestly, she's just a genius. She's just super smart.
Does she have a YouTube channel?
She does.
Do you want to pop?
No. I don't think she's on. I don't think she has a YouTube channel, but there's a couple videos of her on YouTube.
Okay.
I'm not going to shout them out because we're going to watch them next week.
Right in the back pocket. I like that.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to talk about astrology in Shakespeare. We're going to talk about Shakespeare's like worldview, like how he, what was his model of the universe. And we're going to talk about magic in Shakespeare too.
There is more in heaven and earth, Horatio, than is dreamt of in your philosophies. Yeah, It's good shit. It's going to be good, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a good weekend episode next week if we're doing Shakespeare.
Oh, it'll be a really good one. Really good. And her videos they're heat, okay? Piping hot, like untapped gold.
Sweet.
I think no one watched one of them because the audio only comes in through like the left speaker or something like that. But yeah, surprised no one's on this yet. Super good stuff.
Well, there we go.
All right, guys. Everyone, have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. Go subscribe to Merlin's YouTube channel. Let's go over here. Wise Wizard. Oh, look at that. Go check out me on the Jake Shields podcast. If you haven't seen this already, Dr. Longo on the Jake Shields podcast. This shit is spicy, okay? Stuff I don't talk about on my YouTube channel. I talked a lot about on the Jake Shields podcast.
Tengu?
Oh, yeah. Have you seen me on... Have you seen the Jake? Okay.
I watched the premiere, yeah.
Thanks.
Of course.
Guys, go subscribe to Wise Wizard Merlin. Link is in the chat. To follow Merlin. And then also make sure to go subscribe to my alternate channel, Dr. Narco Longo. Subscribe to my... Oh, whoops. Link is in the chat again. Hell yeah.
Sweet. Stay safe in the storm, guys.
Oh, yeah. Winter storm. Stay safe.
Yo, can I share a prepper tip, dude? I brought this out for this. Dude, don't buy expensive shit. Buy canned fruit. My humble opinion. I buy like an extra can of fruit once in a while. I've got like a stockpile in my cupboards. I got enough fruit to last for days. That easy. My humble opinion. But make sure you get some water filtration next time you can. Water filtration is the most important thing.
Sage advice.
That's why I'm the wise wizard.
All right, guys and girls and Janusians and in-betweeners.
All you immutable types.
Everyone have a good night. Thanks for joining. We had like 300 in the chat tonight. Maybe a little more at some point. I think we hit like 350. And all right, next one, Shakespeare and astrology. It'll be straight fire.
Fuego.
Here, one sec. All right. Good night.
Good night.